going on, you guys? Welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a full update, catch-up review on what I got going on in this car. Stay tuned. My door flew open. That was a lot of fun. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name's Sam. This is my Datsun RestoModZ car, and I think it's about time I give you guys an update on it because it's been a couple of months since I've done anything on it. So the car's running. It is a VQ35DE rev up out of a 350Z. I had the ECU sent to a friend of mine named Jason. I'll link his Instagram. He does NATS deletes for VQs and stuff like that. So he did the NATS delete for me, and I even had him do a little bit of a tune on the car too. So he gave me faster throttle response or instant drive-by-wire throttle response. He gave me a higher RPM, if I remember correctly. I redline at 8,500 RPM. He gave me more VTEC. So I have, I think he said he gave me 3 extra degrees of timing in the top end, and he made the cams crack harder. So he says the cams come on harder, they come on earlier in the power band for this car. So the car is a monster. When you lay into it, you feel the cams crack on and the thing just go wow. It's fast. So the car probably weighs 2,000 pounds right now. I would say total when it's done, 22 to 2,300 pounds. There's no interior or trunk in it right now. My friend is going to be doing the dashboard and console. His name's Cody. He's an upholsterer. He's doing the dash and the console in suede with a French stitch. So that's going to look really nice. For the interior, I've gone ahead and done this diamond stitching on the console, or sorry, on the transmission tunnel. I've put these old school Recaro style racing seats in and an old Datsun carpet kit. For wiring, I'm using a Speedway wiring harness. It's kind of tucked back in there, the fuse box. It's in the stock location. And then I've got a Summit Racing heater box assembly right there that I'll be using for defrost and vents on the dash for the occupants. Onto the rear, I didn't have a fuel tank. I had to go with a fuel cell because I had a fuel cell floating around. Unfortunately, I don't have a fuel level sending unit for it, so I think I'm gonna either fab or buy one of those drop-in fuel pump and sending units, because right now I'm running an external pump. It's really loud. You guys probably heard it all throughout the video of me driving it. Those little drip marks are from the undercoating. This is all gonna get a shaved roll pan in the rear, and then I'm gonna be doing, I need to buy some taillight panels, so if anybody knows anybody with some taillight panels, otherwise I'll probably build some custom ones, and I'll end up making videos out of that. For the rear, I need to make a floor for the trunk to hide the fuel cell, and then I'm probably gonna do a fuel filler neck up here. And I like the stock Datsun fuel filler, ain't nothing wrong with it. I even have, oh my God, I probably haven't even opened this. I don't think I've opened this. No reason to. So I'm probably gonna shave this and go with the Dodge, the old like a 69 Charger Dodge boat latch. Oh man, I love those. I seen somebody had one on a Datsun. I can't remember, but it looks so good. I think he had it mounted maybe here, but it looks like a boat latch where it's just this big aluminum thing, and it's got a thumb. When you hit it, you hit the thumb tab and it flips open. Oh, they look great. So something like that would be really cool. Let's see, what else do I got? I've put speakers. The car had holes behind the driver and passenger in those cubbies for 6x9 speakers, so I put speakers in there. The car has 4-inch holes in the doors. I'm gonna put speakers in the doors and make custom door panels. I've got the ECU mounted on the console under the dash. It actually will be, like, even the radio sits right here. So it's behind the radio. You'd have to pull the radio and stuff to get to it. I don't ever see any reason to be getting to the ECU often. And if I needed to, all I'd have to do is remove the radio. It's not a big deal. So ECU is nice and mounted up out of the weather. This is just a heater hose crossbar. That's actually for my heater core. I don't have it plumbed yet. I didn't have any hose, so it's just looped. This is an oil catch can. I have a video on it. I took it apart and rebuilt it and kind of redesigned how it worked. This is just some Chinese,
let's say China,
maybe Amazon or whatever, oil catch can. I don't know. I got it from a friend of mine. It just was floating around. So it wasn't set up correctly. So I went ahead and took it apart and reset it up. For the fuel system, I'm running, the car is a return style system and the motor is returnless. So I'm running a Fuel Lab fuel pressure regulator. This I've had on the car ever since I was I had on my old car since I was turbo inline. So fuel just comes in, gets pressurized. I think it's static pressure 40 PSI for these VQs. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. And the fuel line just goes into the pressurized rail and bleeds off extra pressure out the bottom. This air intake is just temporary. I do plan on building a custom aluminum air box. I just haven't had a chance. For the brakes on the car, I have, up front I have Toyota 4-piston S12 plus 8 calipers on stock 280Z rotors, and they have, I've just drilled them for extra ventilation because they're full solid, so they don't have any ventilation. They warp easily. The rear, I am on drums with new shoes. For master cylinder, I'm running a Willwood 1-inch master cylinder. Okay, so there's my Willwood. That's a 1. So Willwood 1-inch master cylinder and a Willwood brake proportioning valve. This is a Willwood clutch master cylinder. This is a Mishimoto radiator. I had to notch the subframe substantially for this motor swap. I'll do a small segmented video on that. So I'll do a small video on how I did the subframe. I don't know if I have all the footage on that one, but the subframe's heavily notched to clear the motor. I had to remove the rear hood latch assembly that's in the center back here. So I'm actually planning on relocating it here. I want to keep the OEM hood pull cable style release the hood latch. So I want to reinstall it somewhere, or maybe I'll do a dual latch system off a different car and fab it in. But for suspension, I'm running CX Racing coilovers, braided steel brake lines, so 2+2 sway bar in the front is a larger diameter. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's quite larger than a stock 280Z sway bar. I have a stock lower control arm with poly bushings. In the rear, I'm running, these are Datsun Europe lower control arms. I got a CV axle kit on here. So I got rid of the stock half shafts because this motor would destroy those. And then I have a 3.54 ratio R200 open diff. Currently, I'd like to go LSD. We'll see in the future. And poly bushings on the mustache bar, poly bushings on the control arms. There's a picture of the fuel cell. The lower mounting actually hinges out of the way so you can remove the fuel cell. The fuel lines are all just temporary. I've gone and mounted the 350Z gas pedal into the car, so that's drive-by-wire gas pedal. And I had to extend the wiring harness for that. Okay, so for the most part, it's a pretty simple build. I'm not going crazy over the top with it. I'm not going crazy wide body or anything. I want to keep it very simple. Simple lines, original styling, with modern amenities. So I'm keeping it old school, but I'm going with modern upgrades. I've got bigger brakes, bigger sway bar in the front, fuel injected motor. I got 6-speed manual transmission. It's gonna have digital gauges. So my friend Cody's gonna wrap the dashboard and maybe even the console in suede with a French stitch. It's gonna look really nice. I'm really excited. Yeah, because right now I don't have a dash or a console. So that's pretty much where the car is at. Next on the list is bodywork and getting it ready for paint. Pretty much the groundwork is done. It's all done. The bones are there. I got the motor in and mounted. I got everything mounted, working, running, almost wired. So now I'm at the point where I can take it all apart, right? Take everything back out, take the motor out, take the transmission, the wiring, and I can strip it down and start getting the body and everything and the glass taken out and ready for paint. But other than that, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little update on my car. There's gonna be plenty more videos coming. I have the footage of the suspension and the engine going in. I have the footage of me doing the interior, like the carpet console, putting the seats on. So I will go back and I will use the new camera and the car as it is now and the old footage, and I'll kind of combine and make some cool videos in the future. You guys stick around, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next ones.